Hello everyone, this is Bradley. So today this is a revisiting of a loop spiral animation I've done in the past. Although I've called that a revisiting, but there's nothing new. Methodology are completely the same. We're just making a variation of that. The reason I started this tutorial is because many people do not understand the update of presets. So I think it might be better to refresh the concepts and your memory so that you can utilize the newest version of presets. Here I'm going to use the 3.1, but technically speaking, I will discuss the 3.0 as well if you're concerned with the different versions. Okay. So here we're in Blender. Let's start with an object, add a geometry node trees, and I'm going to lock the interface. Okay. So we need to start with a curve. You can start with whatever curve. It does not really matter. In this particular case, I'm just going to start with the curve spiral, and this is how it looks like. Let's just make the start and end uniform, so maybe 1. Okay, and then let's increase the height. You can also deal with the rotation however you want. It does not really matter. Okay, next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to point instance, and let's take a curve circle. Okay, so within this instance we have this kind of curve circle being instanced, but it's not aligned with our curve's flow. It's just kind of always facing upwards. This is not what I like. I will discuss in my tutorial of align ruler to vector. Basically, to ensure the accuracy when you are aligning on curves, you always need 2 align to vector. One is for the curve tangent, another is for the normal. Okay. Instead of using 4 nodes and changing all these kind of settings, I made a preset which is directly alignment on splines. So this is kind of a cheating method, but it's kind of very convenient to use. And you just decrease the radius. You can always download this preset for free from the link in the description, by the way. Okay, so in this case, let's decrease the resolution. Let's like 3. Okay, so talking about the principle of this entire setup is basically that we are going to connect the splines. Points A, point B, point C, point D, and so on and so forth. Continue this entire process until you finally form a spline. Here it involves a concept of loops, because once you form a single spline, you have to repeat the process on the other set of vertices, and so on and so forth. Okay. I've made a preset which is called Helical Connection. This is what I've made since the animation of the era, because this is kind of a very useful function because it can form a spline along the curves, which is very nice. But people do not really understand since I updated this kind of presets. While it's, well, whatever. So basically the usage is that you plug the instance as a sampling process. And if you have 3 sockets, then you need to plug the curve into the second socket. Okay. But I deleted the second socket because it's not necessary anymore. So you just plug the curve into the branches so that you form the amount. Okay. So finally, at the end of this loop, you output 3 splines. Okay. A very easy way to get a single spline is you can basically resample this curve. I think this is the easiest method. Okay. In the past tutorial, I've had a iteration option. Okay. But I think most of the time we would like to do this automatically, so that you do not want to use the iteration. But in this particular case, you do need an iteration because instead of 3, I only want to have 1. Okay. But you cannot type your resolution to 1. There is no effect. So what can you do? It's very simple. You just take a resample curve so that you make the count into 1. So then no matter how your resolution is, finally you only output a something, I don't know. Okay, so this is how it works. So now we only have a single spline. You might think this is very stupid. Why am I doing this? But the reason is that I would like to rotate this single spline. So here, let's just take a combine XYZ, or let's take a, yeah, actually combine XYZ will be okay. And let's take a float range. This is a new float range compared to the past, but it does not really matter. You can just use that as you wish. And here what we're going to do is just to, I do not know which axis I'm going to rotate. So you can just add whatever numbers. It does not really seems to working. Where should I do? Let's use the radius. Okay, using the radius, it starts to work. Okay, and just increase the amount of loops, and then it's fine. You can see the resolution is not very high. So in this case, we just increase the resolution of instancing so that it becomes much smoother. Of course, there will be much more methods that you can use, but basically this kind of concept. So in this case, we have this kind of smooth spirals along the curve, and you can deform the curve and you still get a very nice result, and so on and so forth. Next, we are going to talk about how to animate the scaling of all these kind of instances. Knowing that the reason we can end up having this spiral over a spiral is because we're essentially connecting the points generated from this kind of curved circle instances. Okay, which also means if you manipulate the radius of your curved circle, you manipulate the radius of our spiral as well. Okay, so in this case, if we use a spline parameter, which essentially outputs 0 to 1 from the beginning to the end of our curve, then we end up shaped like this. We start with a small radius, finally end up a large radius of a spiral over the spiral. Okay, this is also a way to do the animation, but I'm not going to use this method. It's just a personal preference or whatever reason. You can do whatever you want. The tutorial is intended to give you an idea instead of really telling you you should do this, that, and not the other way around. Okay. So in this case, instead of using a spline parameter, I'm just going to use proximity Falloff. This is actually a very simple setup, although it looks kind of very complex, but essentially it's just a geometry proximity, or you can use the vector mask, which contains a distance operation. As long as you can get a distance, I do not really care the method you're using. In this case, I'm just using the geometry proximity and up this proximity Falloff. Most of tutorial, I'm using the objects mode so that you can manipulate things within viewport very easily. But in this case, for accuracy, I'm going to use this location offset. Okay. By default, of course, it's 0, 0, 0. Okay. And if you manipulate in this z-axis, you cannot see anything within the viewport. The reason is that you need to increase the scale of the effectiveness so that you basically draw a sphere, and the closest to sphere is given a value of 1. Outside of sphere, it gives a value of 0. Okay. Maybe you haven't seen this Falloff amount because this is something I've added recently, but it does not really change the effects at this moment. You do not need to worry about that. Okay, so we have this proximity Falloff, and what to do. The reason I do not like this location offset most of the time is because it's kind of very difficult to manipulate. I do not know where 5 is within this viewport. Of course, we see this effect here, but sometimes it's kind of not convenient. Okay. Also, it's not very accurate in this particular case, so we're going to use another node, which is called a sample curve, which is basically giving you a location on these curves, so that the Falloff will be generated more kind of accurate by manipulating this factor. Okay. So just by manipulating this factor, you can see this animation. The rest is just the parameter issues, like you can change the factor, change the ease, change the minimum, maximum. There are lots of things you can potentially play around. Change the resolution to smooth, yet otherwise you will have a very jaggy whatever stuff. And basically this is it. In other cases, if you want, you can definitely increase the resample count or completely delete that, and then change the resolution. Finally, you have this kind of whatever stuff. I've actually discussed the similar kind of setup, which is helical. I forgot the name of the tutorial, but anyway. The whole point I repeat this tutorial is because many people do not know how to generate only a single spline if there is no iteration option. Actually, it's kind of very simple. You just resample it to 1. And finally, this is finishing. But by factor of 1, you can see this, there's a remnant of the effect. There are definitely ways to resolve that, but I do not want to discuss it. Because from a practical perspective, you do not see this end of your spirals. You just see in the middles, you start and you end, finally everything's gone. Okay, so I will just stop it here instead of increasing the complexity of this tutorial. By the way, if you would like to just generate a volume of this splines, then you just use this curve to mesh. And just to make it a little bit easier, I'm just going to use the preset, which is called a bevel curve. Of course, you can also deal with the radius of these splines. There are tons of things you can potentially play around. I'm not going to really repeat the entire part of this tutorial. So I hope you enjoyed this tutorial. I'll probably see you next time. Bye-bye.